Hello, geometry folks, and welcome to Surface Area of Prisms and Cylinders. You need your flip charts, a pen or a pencil, and a calculator, and we'll get started talking about surface area of all these things that we have been working with. All right, so first and foremost, let's get out your flip chart. And we are going to go ahead and do some Chapter 12 formulas. And so flip over the first flap, and we are going to talk about prisms. One side is going to be surface area, and then leave the other side for volume, because we're going to end up doing surface area and volume, and you want to be able to have room under prism for both of those things. We're just not going to do volume until next week. And the same goes with cylinder and pyramid and cone and sphere. So make sure that you're writing on one side and leaving the other side blank for the volume formulas. All right, let's get started. First of all, you should write down what prisms are. Okay, so prisms are named after the type of base it has. All the other sides would be rectangles. Okay, and we call those other sides lateral faces. So this, you don't need to draw it, you need to write down what it means to be a prism. So this would be a triangular prism, because the triangles are the bases, and then all other sides would be rectangles. So I know that this is a triangular prism because the triangles are the parallel bases. Now, I also know that there's going to be three rectangles because a triangle has three sides. So two bases, and then there will be three lateral faces. This would be a square prism. And the reason why it would be square is because this is the base. Okay, so you can't see the base over here, but the base over here is square, and all of the other sides would be rectangles. All the other lateral faces would be rectangles. And there would be four sides that would be rectangles because a square has four sides. This would be called a hexagonal prism. And the reason why this is called a hexagonal prism is because it has six sides. See, there's six sides here, and that base would be the same as the base on the bottom. And then all these lateral faces or sides are rectangles, okay? And this would be called a pentagonal pyramid. Notice that the base is a pentagon. There's five sides here. And then there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rectangles around that. And if I go back to the hexagonal prism, you would know that there are 6 rectangles because the base has 6 sides. Okay, so that's some prisms. Now let's find the surface area of prisms. The surface area of prisms is the total area of all the surface of the sides, okay, of the solid. So if I have this solid, this would be a rectangular prism because the base down here is a rectangle. This side and this side is congruent, this side and this side is congruent. So if I took the total of area of all the sides or surfaces, then that would be the surface area. So if I broke this down a little bit, it might be easier if I lay it flat. And so this is what this figure looks like flat. All right, so I would have to find the surface area of all these parts. Now you don't have to draw this all out in your notes, but make sure that you maybe write down the example so that you have some sort of idea of how to find the surface area of certain prisms. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and find out for this rectangular prism. Let's go ahead and find out all the surface area for this whole thing. So that means I'm going to find the area of the bases. Okay, I'm going to find the area of all the sides. Okay, so these are the bases right here. This would be the base, this would be the base. This is 3 centimeters, and this is 2 centimeters, and this is 2 centimeters. So the bases would be 3 times 2, because the area of rectangles would be base times height. And the bases are rectangles, and then all 4 sides around it are rectangles. So the base would be the rectangle, which would be 2 times 3, which is 6, and there's 2 of them. So the base area would be 12 centimeters squared. Okay, now let's find all the lateral sides. Now, if you look at this, not all lateral sides are going to be the same. This is going to be a 2 by 6, and over here is going to be a 2 by 6. Okay, so this is going to be a 2 by 6, and this one is a 2 by 6. So those rectangle sides, okay, so two of the sides are going to be 2 times 6, which is 12, and there's two of them, so two of the sides are going to be 24 centimeters squared. Okay, the other two sides, so we got two sides and two more sides, they're going to be a 3 by 6, a 3 by 6, and so they're going to be 3 times 6, which is 18, and there's two of them, so they will be 36 centimeters squared. And if I take 12 centimeters squared plus 24 centimeters squared plus 36 centimeters squared, I will get 72 centimeters squared. That would be my total area, or what we could call surface area. And I'm going to do SA for surface area. Okay, let's do one more example here. This is the surface area of a right prism. What kind of prism is this? This would be a triangular prism. Okay, so the bases are triangles, so we're going to have the two bases, which are triangles, and the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, and then all other sides would be rectangles, and they're all going to be the same because this is going to be the same here and here and here, and all of those edges are going to be 15 centimeters. So we have three rectangle areas that we have to find, which is base times height. All right, so let's go ahead and start by finding the area of the bases, the triangle. So what do we know about this triangle? Well, it's a regular triangle, right? So if it's a regular triangle, we know all the sides are the same, which means all these angles are the same. So these angles are 60 degrees, okay? So we could do make your height, draw your 90-degree angle, and then do a 60, 30, 90 triangle and find out what the height of this triangle is. Or we could fill in those parts. If I drop a altitude down, this would be 2.5 centimeters. This is still going to be 5 centimeters. So I could use sine, okay, I could use sine, or I could use the Pythagorean theorem. Whichever works for you. I'm going to do the Pythagorean theorem. I haven't done that in a while, so 2.5 squared plus x squared is equal to 5 squared, because we're looking for the height. This would be 6.25 plus x squared equals 25. X squared would equal 18.75, square root both sides, and x would equal 4.33. So the height, x, which is the height of the triangle, is 4.33. So now that I know the height of that triangle, I can go ahead and find the area of those two bases. So I would say base is 5 times 4.33 divided by 2. This is my triangle area, okay? And that would be 10.8, I had to do this in my calculator, 10.825, and there's two of those, so that would be a total area of 21.65 centimeters squared. That's the area of the triangles. Now let's do the area of the rectangles. The area of the rectangles is base times height. The base of this rectangle is 5, and the height is 15. That's the same for all of those. So I would do 5 times 15, which is 75, and then I'd multiply that by 3, which is 225 centimeters squared. Add those two together to find the surface area, and that would be 246.65 centimeters squared. That would be the surface area of this triangular prism. Okay. So let's flip the page over and do surface area of a cylinder. Cylinders are like prisms except for they have circular bases. So here's my cylinder, and when I pull this cylinder apart, this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to have two circles and a rectangle, okay? So what would I need to do to find the surface area of this cylinder? Well, I would need to know the area of this circle, and these two circles should be the same, so I would need to find the area of the two circles. So I would find the area of one circle and multiply it by 2. And then I'd need to find the area of this rectangle, which is base times height. So this is going to be your height of the cylinder. Okay, so the height of your cylinder is going to be the height of the rectangle. And so then what's the base? The base is going to be, let me get a different color pen here. The base is going to be this right here, which doesn't that wrap around the circle? Okay, it goes all the way around the circle, so that is actually the circumference of the circle. Okay, so the base is actually 2 pi r, because you will always be able to wrap the rectangle around the circle. So the base is 2 pi r, and the height is the height of the cylinder. Okay, so let's go ahead and do an example of these. So let's find the surface area of this cylinder. Okay, so now we're in cylinders, so make sure you have flipped over your flap to the next note parts of your foldable. All right, and so how am I going to do this problem? Okay, well, let's talk about how we broke it down in the last slide. We have two circles, and we have this around here that if we laid it out, it would be a rectangle. Okay, so let's talk about the area of our two circles. There's two circles, so let's find the area of the two circles, which would be pi r squared. So the area of our two circles, pi times r, which is 3, and squared, that would be 9 pi, and there's 2 of them, so this total area would be 18 pi feet squared for the two circles. Now that's the same thing as saying 56.55 feet squared. Okay, so we have an area of the two circles of 56.55 feet squared, and now I need to find the area of that rectangle. So if I draw that rectangle out, remember the height of the rectangle is the height of the cylinder, which is 4 feet, and then the base is the circumference of the circle, because it goes all the way. See, if I do this, it goes all the way around, and that's the circumference or perimeter of the circle. So if I find the perimeter of the circle, I will know my base. So if I do circumference equals 2 pi r, that would be 2 times pi times 3, because the radius is 3. That would be 6 pi feet. Okay, so then I take base, which is 6 pi, times height, base times height, and I would get 24 pi, or 24 pi would be 75.40 feet squared. And now if I add those two together, I will get the total surface area of the cylinder to be 131.95 feet squared. So surface area is just breaking each piece or part of the prism or the cylinder and finding its area and adding them all up. All right, thanks for taking good notes, and we will be here tomorrow to practice this some more. Thank you, and have a great day.